Welcome to Strong and Steady, where we talk about building strength, supporting your health, and choosing sustainable wellness for women in every season of life.
And I'm Brittany. I'm here with my co host, Jessica. She's a mom of four littles with such a grounded, realistic approach to balance for low tox living. She helps busy moms build healthy habits that actually work in real life without perfection or overwhelm.
And I'm Jessica, here with Brittany, a woman's health and fitness coach who specializes in elite aging. She helps women build strong bones and muscles so they can live their whole lives to the fullest with confidence, strength, and independence.
And together, we have over 2 decades specializing in the health and fitness industry. So, whether you're in the thick of young motherhood
or focused on staying strong for the long run,
we are so glad you're here. Hey guys, it's Britt, and I am so excited that you are here listening today to our Quick Shot podcast. So, this is a great way that we have already talked about these topics on our podcast. But what we do in these short 15-minute quick shot podcast is that we're going to deep dive. It's going to be fast, it's going to be furious. So, grab a notebook and grab a pen, and I will see you there. Hey guys, it's Brittany. We're going to get right into it. We're going to deep dive about protein. So, if you have listened to our podcast, we talked about bone health and muscle health and how it is so important for us women to have to have protein, enough protein. And you are probably hearing about all these trends about eat more protein, eat more fiber and all that. And so we are going to deep dive in that today. If you are eating enough protein, but you're still not seeing changes in strength or weight or energy, so it's probably not necessarily the amount. It's actually when and how you're eating it. We have been told and I've told y'all on the podcast that you need at least 1 gram of protein per ideal body weight. And so if your ideal body weight is 150 grams of protein or 150 pounds, then you need 150 grams of protein per day. Okay. I know that that can be very overwhelming, but what we do is that you actually want to break it down throughout the day. So yes, you can have a big steak that is 80 to 100 grams of protein, but the problem is that your body is not going to be able to break down or absorb that many grams of protein at one time. That's why it's very important to do that throughout the day. So, what is protein? We're going to go over that real quick. So, protein supports your bone health. It supports brain function. So, I don't know about you, but if I do not have enough protein, I'm feeling a little on the brain fog side. It also helps increase your metabolism. So, what happens though? As far as that metabolism goes, is that it takes your body more calories to burn that protein. And so what happens is that because it's burning more calories, then guess what? It's boosting your metabolism. But it also helps by adding muscle. Protein actually does help add muscle and build muscle in your body. And the more muscle that you have, the faster your metabolism will be. And one thing that we have heard, and I guess you could say is a myth, is that if you the older we get, our metabolism slows down. No, it's really the fact that we slow down and that our muscle starts literally like depleting. And so that is why it's so important to make sure that you are keeping your muscle. It also helps with weight loss. So think about blood sugar control. So it actually keeps you fuller longer. And that's one thing that I love about protein is that it does keep you full. It's very satiating, and I absolutely love protein. So, and again, it helps your muscles grow and it helps with preservation. So, it is essential as we age. So, after 30, for us women, after 30, we are fighting muscle loss. And then after 40 and 50, we are fighting bone loss. And that is why protein is so important. Okay, so I touched on it a little bit about protein in absorption and distribution. So this is where you can kind of have this aha moment. So your body can actually effectively only use 25 to 40 grams of protein at a time. So this varies by your size, your weight, your age, your activity. So the larger you are, the more that your body will be able to absorb that and to burn it and to work with it. Uh, but again, so if your ideal body weight is 150 grams, or sorry, 150 pounds, then you need 150 grams of protein a day. But if you are a smaller figure, then let's say your ideal body weight is 120 pounds, then you need 120 grams of protein. And then also, so excess protein in one sitting, it doesn't get stored as muscle. So it will actually be stored as fat. So it's very important to make sure that you are breaking it down throughout the day. So think about this. If you eat 70 grams at dinner and 10 the rest of the day, you are actually missing the opportunity to build muscle. Another thing about protein, and I love this, is that the power of protein, having it higher at breakfast is actually going to help you build muscle throughout the day. So there was a study of two groups, and they literally had the exact same amount of protein a day. They were given 150 grams of protein a day, and they could break it up however. So group one had the majority of their protein in the morning. And then, so they had about 40 grams of protein in the morning. But then group two, they did not have as much protein in the morning, but they saved the majority of their protein for the evening, for dinner. And what happened with those groups, what they saw was that the group that had higher protein in the morning, starting their day off with a power packed protein breakfast, that they actually had better muscle growth, they had better bone density, and they had better brain function. And so it is important to have a high protein breakfast. So you think about this, like why this works. So cortisol is naturally higher in the morning, and then you are more insulin sensitive, or insulin is sensitive, is better earlier in the day. So protein early equals better blood sugar and a stable all day. So a protein heavy breakfast sets your metabolism and muscle up for success for the next 12 hours. So now you're thinking, okay, awesome. I am going to go eat all this protein. It's going to be great. And yes, you need to up your protein. But I will say this, we cannot miss out on the fiber component. And no, I have heard this a few times that people have told me, they're like, oh, well, protein has fiber in it. No, no, it does not. I will cinch that lie right there. It does not. Protein does not have any fiber. That is where you find it in your vegetables and your grains. And so you have to have fiber along with your protein. So protein literally doesn't work alone, and this is where your fiber comes in. So your fiber supports gut health and your microbiome. It supports blood sugar regulation, and it also attaches to hormones and it helps you detox. So, like, think about your estrogen detox. You have to have fiber to do that. And it also helps you more, or keep you fuller longer. So it's very satiating. So you want high fiber vegetables along with your protein. So uh, basically, with this, what I tell all my clients is that we have to have a balanced diet. So you cannot just have your protein, and you cannot just have your vegetables, and you cannot just have your fats. You have to have a balanced meal of all of those because they are nutrient dense. And any diet that tells you that you have to cut out a certain food group, is not going to be sustainable and long lasting. So you want something that is sustainable, that you can do this for life, like longevity. Think about this. You want to be able to do about the same diet. When I say diet, I mean a lifestyle eating. You want to do that about the same when you're 20 as you do when you're older. Now, yes, there are things that change. There are things that change in our hormones, but we have to make sure that we are eating whole, healthy food, and that is plenty of complete proteins of meats, whether that's chicken, beef, fish, salmon. Salmon is one of the best uh, foods for you, like omega 3s, which is really good for your brain. But then also you have to have vegetables. And so you can have broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. And I know a lot of people are like, what the heck? I don't want to eat those. I don't like those. It's all about how you cook it. So if you go to our page, we will show you how to cook these vegetables. And then also having tomatoes, having so many different vegetables. I love zucchini and the peppers, and the more color, the better. And that is where you can find your fiber. And then also, let's see. So think about this when you are looking for your proteins. I know a lot of people are into the vegan or vegetarian diet, but I will say this is that you cannot get enough protein. And if you really have to focus and hone in and be extremely intentional and extremely specific with how you eat to get enough protein. Now, we're going to talk about complete versus incomplete proteins. So, your complete proteins, it contains all of the essential amino acids. So, think about your animal sources. So, your meat, poultry, fish, eggs, dairy, those are all complete proteins because they have all of the amino acids it takes to build muscle, to help with your brain, with everything, with your bone density. There are some plants that actually are a complete protein. So that would be like soy and quinoa. Those are the only two plant proteins that are actually have all of the amino acids in them. So incomplete proteins, they only have a few. So yes, they do have protein, but they do not have all of the amino acids. That's what makes them incomplete. So most plant sources, so think like your beans, your nuts, your grains, those do have a little bit of protein, but not nearly enough for what we need as women. So they can still work, but you have to combine them with complete proteins. So it's not that plant proteins are bad, it's that they are less efficient for muscle and bone, unless you are very, very intentional. So, I want to give y'all three simple takeaways. So, one, eat protein at every meal. Every time that you sit down to eat or make a meal, I want you to say, okay, where is my protein? Grab some chicken breast, grab a hamburger patty. Always make sure that you are having protein because you want a balanced meal. You have to have all three macronutrients every single time that you eat something, whether that is a meal or a snack because if your goal is to have balanced blood sugar, to lose weight, to feel your best, you have to have all three together. Okay. And then number two is that you want to front load protein earlier in the day. So think a big, nice, hearty, protein filled and fiber filled breakfast. And then number three is pair protein. Oh, I just said that. But anyway, number three is pair proteins with fiber rich veggies. So, strong bones and a sharp brain and healthy metabolism don't come from extremes, but they actually come from consistency. So, thank y'all so much for listening in. I hope y'all got some amazing things, and I cannot wait to see how you implement this.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If this episode resonated with you, we'd love for you to come hang out with us over on Instagram. You can find us at The Strong and Steady. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe and share this episode with a friend. We'll see you next time on Strong and Steady.